If you're an aspiring artist, someone has no doubt told you that you must learn to draw with your shoulder. This is to avoid being a pathetic, lowly amateur, and also to avoid the dreaded chicken scratch of doom drawing method. Now, this sounds like a good idea, but unfortunately, it's just not true. I've been a professional drawing teacher for 10 years, and in this video, I'll share with you why that is the case and what you can actually do to improve your drawing. Let's get started. Just quickly, my name's Tim McBurney. I've been a professional artist for 20 years, and as I said, I've been a drawing teacher for quite a while, and I've seen this type of advice come up and, trip up students who are maybe thinking about this stuff too much and following this type of advice too much. I'm here to help you draw stuff from your imagination, to embrace the challenge of drawing, and to master the craft of line and color illustration. That's really what I'm all about. So the idea of line work and finding the best way to express yourself with line and the subtleties of how we move our body to get that line is something that I've really dedicated my life to. Now, we know that it's not true that you need to draw from your shoulder, and you know it too because you've probably seen people who are quite high level drawing without always drawing from their shoulder. There's a lot of really great artists out there who you can observe by just watching stuff where they're drawing on places like here, like YouTube or Instagram, and you can see that people draw in a wide variety of ways. A good example of this that you can check out here on YouTube, in addition to my drawing videos, is Akihito Yoshitomi's YouTube channel, where they have a wide variety of real-time drawing demonstrations. I think it's a really cool channel. The mic's really sort of close to the page, and you can really hear that and just drawing. It's a really good channel, and you can see there again the process involves a lot of what you people would call chicken scratch. There's a lot of just sort of drawing subtle lines, but the drawing is accurate. It's high level, and I think this is the case that I see again and again. The advice is that we need to draw from our shoulder, but the evidence I see is that that's not actually how most people are doing it all the time. So why do we get this advice? Where does it come from? Well, I think there's probably two sort of areas that I think really this information stems from. The first is that when you are drawing large scale, typically this advice would be given when you're drawing from life, maybe from a model, and you're on an easel. When you're on an easel, you do need to kind of avoid really sort of getting up there on the easel and sort of trying to draw with your fingers. You do need to approach it in this kind of manner where you're going to hold the pencil or the pen or whatever you're drawing with the charcoal normally. And you are going to need to use your whole body, right? Your shoulder specifically, in order to get coverage on the page and in order to get the right type of lines, right? That's where you typically have a grip somewhat like this, right? And that will allow you to get the type of strokes you need on a large surface. I think that's where this advice comes from. And again, I think it's well suited there because it is very easy if you've only sort of done this work a little bit. You've got a giant bit of newsprint paper, a giant bit of charcoal, and we're kind of like up there, this close, sort of doing that, right? That won't work. You need to draw big. When you're drawing big, you do need to use your shoulder in most cases. I think the other way that this sort of advice has filtered down is potentially from a bit of that old school, old master Renaissance sort of art style, where we are trying to get something very beautiful. We're trying to get something that is very classic with a lot of flowing lines. It's about making things pretty. Now, this is important because now, in most cases, we draw quite small, and we're drawing on, bits of paper that are sort of, this big. And we are actually often drawing with fingers or hands or, maybe with sort of wrist, but very rarely you're drawing with your shoulder in a modern sort of environment. So I think the other thing that's linked to that is again, this idea of a beautiful line is an ideal, and it's not the only ideal. It's just one ideal. Just quickly, if you're interested in improving your own line and color comic book, manga, bande dessinée style illustrations, go check out my free quick start guide. The link will be in the description. In there, I go over how I create line and color illustrations in Photoshop. And if you sign up for that quick start guide, you'll get all of the brushes and the PSDs and the files that I use to create my work. And again, I've used this same technique to create quite a large range of comic books and other projects over my career. Go check it out. Now, if lines don't need to be beautiful, what do they need to be? Well, I think it's really important to understand that often when we're aspiring as artists, we like different types of art, and other people like different types of art to us, and the advice that you're going to get about how you actually approach it is going to be very different depending on who you ask. Now, a lot of people are really into these sort of pretty, beautiful flowing lines, and I think the question is like, well, what's wrong with a beautiful flowing line? What's wrong with style and sort of lots of energy in your lines? What I would also call like a cool line, right? Like, that looks, it's so cool, right? It's got so much style and energy. Now, there's lots of cases where this isn't going to be effective in your art. If you're trying to be a comic book artist and everything you draw has these kind of pretty, beautiful lines, you're going to have a real friggin' hard time drawing a horror comic book, because everything you're going to draw is going to look pretty and nice. And these big flowing lines aren't going to help you draw the dread, horrible depths of despair that you're going to need to make people feel afraid with your art. In a similar way, if you're approaching it with a very cool style, right? Lots of sort of cool, jagged lines and, very sort of expressive, interesting shape design, and everything's cool. It's going to be very hard for you often to approach poignant scenes that have a lot of pathos or emotion to them, because everything's going to sort of look cool and slick. And the idea of sort of having different emotions in your lines is going to be challenging. So depending on who you are and what you want to do with your art, you're going to very much need to change the way that the lines emotionally affect the viewer. And this is where, again, it's not a matter of just draw with your shoulder, get a nice flowy line. It's a matter of understanding your style and how it works. And I think that is the most important thing. Now, it's easy for me to say, don't draw with your shoulder. The question is, what do we draw with? How do we draw? How do we get this happening and reach a high level? Well, I think the truth is very simple. You draw with your whole body, and you respond to the needs of what you're actually drawing from moment to moment. And the more flexibility you have with your body and how you can kind of make marks, the more effective you're going to be. Obviously, again, I think this is overlaid with that stylistic stuff that I was talking about just previously, because you're going to have a particular way that you do everything. But often what we're talking about when we say draw from a shoulder is that this allows you to be loose, or it's going to teach you, again, to be able to get a certain type of accuracy. Now, I think it is good to practice being loose, and certainly practicing a little bit to make sure your shoulder is going to work, I think can be useful. But at the core of it, what happens, if you imagine there's a page in front of me, is that I sort of look at the page and my mind says, you have to draw something this size. And then my body says, how do I move my hand to do that? That's what's always happening. Now, if it's a very small thing there, what's going to happen is, right, my body, the entire somatic physiology of me is going to say, how do I do that? And what's going to happen is, if it's very small, I'm going to put my hand up there and I'm going to draw it with my finger. If I'm trying to draw something big, right, again, my mind is going to say, oh, you need to draw something big. And my body is going to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll hold that pen differently, right? Hold the pencil differently. I might approach it slightly differently. I might sort of turn my body so I can get line that way, right? I might need to, make a big line that way. So it really is a matter of your body learning to adapt to draw the line that you need at a particular point. The more you train yourself in general, the better you will get at this. There's no real secret to this, although there are some good drawing exercises that you can do that, again, I'll make some videos about, and I'll link them here so you can check that out. But at its core, all you're really doing is just training your body to make particular marks. And you need to be able to make little tiny ones and medium-sized ones and big ones, depending on how big they are, where they are on the canvas, where you are in relation to them. So again, if I'm drawing a little mark that's sort of very close to me, right, I might just use my finger. But if it's over here, right, I might actually extend the pencil and make the same mark there. So it's really just a matter of practice, right? This is really obvious, but there's no trick to this. You just have to draw a lot and you'll get better at it. And again, you want to make sure you can draw with your shoulder. But the number one tip I give to make sure you can draw with your shoulder is make sure it's actually mobile. So that means that when you're sitting there, you want to make sure that your drawing arm and the shoulder and the whole thing can actually move. So this just means when you're sitting down, just position yourself and make sure that you can actually move with your shoulder. And I think if you actually free it up and make sure you can move with your shoulder, your body will eventually learn to draw with your shoulder when it needs to. That really is the secret to it. There's nothing special. Your whole body draws and you'll just get better at it over time. All right, that's all I've got. Very, very simple. You may end up drawing with a chicken scratchy line, a really messy line, nice, smooth, flowing, beautiful lines full of energy with interesting shape design. That's totally up to you. Neither is right or wrong. Neither is better or worse than the other. It's a matter of figuring out what type of art you want to create and what type of line gets that emotional response from the viewer. It really is that simple. So keep at it, keep practicing, draw with your shoulder, draw with your wrist, draw with your fingers, draw with your elbow, draw with everything. It's all good. Catch you around. Happy drawing.